Hello, everyone. This is Auntie Laura. Just a quick note before we get into our chapter discussion. We were having some technical difficulties, so I know the quality of the recording is not that great. I was having some issues, and then Study Bunny, who was facilitating the discussion, was also abroad, and sometimes connections being what they are. So I want to apologize for the not so great audio quality, but we will do our very best in the future to try to make sure it's better. We are kind of new at this, so we appreciate your patience and understanding. And with that, we will get to the recording. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you would also like to take part in our discussions, we have them every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in our Discord, Withered Flowers, and the link to join the Discord will be in the description. And now, without further ado, D6 discussion. Thank you.
Welcome back to Withered Flowers, the podcast about the explosive manhwa made by gae-nim. Tears on a Withered Flower. Today we are going to be discussing about chapter 67. Auntie Laura, I don't know if your headphones are working, but yeah, it's just because I cannot hear her. But she's probably talking. But yes, um, so Gabe really heard our prayers. Chapter 66. My bad. It's been a long day. But Gay has been hearing our prayers about a faster plot progression. Um, and if you have not heard, and I don't know how you have not heard from this point, um, somebody may be expecting, and we will be finding out about that for chapter 67. But without further ado, I will go through the entire chapter and I will do the recap if that's okay. Um, you wrote that. Okay, so cool. Okay, is that okay, Auntie Laura? Digital girl, should I be able to go? I don't know if I can hear.
I'm gonna assume yes, unless Auntie Laura put something in the chat, which I don't see.
Okay, all right, I'll just go right ahead. Okay. While we need to do the recap, yeah, let's discuss. So there is a possibility that Ari is going to be expecting. This is kind of one of the most influential things that is going to be happening within the story, just because if Ari is actually pregnant, right? And it doesn't really matter in my perspective or in my point of view if Ari is pregnant or if she's not pregnant, but still tells Minchel that she is indeed pregnant. It will determine whether or not, first and foremost, she's going to be with Minchol when his downfall actually occurs. And number two, it gets for us to actually make a proper analysis of Ari as a character because a lot of people are like, oh, Ari isn't aware, like how Minchol is, this, that, and the third. But once she kind of gets to see how, how Minchel finally is, like his true colors from the get go, from the jump, um, we'll see if she decides to jump ship or stay by her man. I am going to put some more prediction polls in the predictions chat. But without further ado, I'm going to do the recap, but I cannot scroll. So I will begin. Let's go. So the chapter started off with our girl Enol, the barbecue co-worker, basically scolding Hae Soo about the fact that this guy about Teha, and basically Enol's she was saying that like his face is attractive, his face is like ridiculously gorgeous, and when we keep going down, she's basically suspecting Teha to be a gigolo. So I have to actually Google what a gigolo is. But she thinks that Teha is a sugar baby, or like they're kind of like these type of men that are at host clubs that basically have like women that help provide their lifestyle and everything like that. And I can't lie, I was kind of laughing when I was reading all of that. So basically, she was taking out all of the comments that were happening in the TV show. So basically, the fact that he can say everything. He other times he's too busy. Other times he'll clear out his entire schedule for her, and it's inconsistent because he's working at the days and he's working nights, and his hours are never really consistent. And he can be able to say everything sweetly, like he's able to say everything perfectly. If we keep scrolling down, one of the more funnier things within the chapter is like, lastly, he knows his way around women too well. So the first one is said, expert hands that give you an incredible night. Boom. And then the next one is level 100,000 fans. I'm so sorry. It was just too funny going through their channels. Um, and then if we keep going down, because that's when Teha, we all found out Teha likes to be choked. So he's a gigolo. So, and all of us basically just like, I'm going to attack him. We love Anol. We love her so much. She was basically like, I'm going to kill him. Because like, who dares to mess with Hae Soo? We have to protect her. And Hae Soo is not really like listening to Anol. So because she was saying to Anol that like, oh, I have really nothing about these to take. But Anil was saying that, humans can be able to suck the soul out of the flea if they could. So she's saying that, are you seriously telling me that you never gave him a single thing? And this is why I love the story so much, because we can go back and say, well, she actually gave him 4,000 won, a teddy bear, instant ramen, gloves, a weird shirt, and if you consider it, the red dot incident that happened in chapter 33. So she said, and that was her conclusion, that like, oh yeah, he's a gigolo. I was just like, this is too funny. This is too much. Um, so as they were continuing, an old demanded that Nahe Soo cut contact with Teha because of her suspicion that she's a gigolo. But the thing that was kind of sending me was that, first and foremost, she should ask Teha if he's doing that type of profession. Hopefully Teha can tell the truth, but you never know. So it's kind of in her own thinking about everything that has happened. As we keep going down, we kind of start seeing some things from the flash. She says, I don't believe he approached me with those intentions. Even Nahe Soo isn't that much of a fool. So she kind of knows deep down that that's probably not Teha's intention. And we go back to different panels of like Minchell saying that, oh, try to make yourself look pretty. So she feels like, because it's like she's old, she's withered, she really has nothing left to give. And then we obviously go back to like the first chapter of obviously Minchell like degrading her, and her just saying to herself like, I'm just a worthless person. And the thing is that Nahi Soo's now at this point that she understands that she likes Teha. She understands that she likes Teha, but in this monologue, she says, continuing such a relationship is a bigger loss for him than it is for me. And that fact was so painfully obvious, it was blinding. And essentially, she was basically saying that, like, I like him a lot, but it's more of a disadvantage of him being in a relationship with me than it is for us to be apart. So she feels like she's dragging Taehyung down, essentially being in a relationship with him. As we keep scrolling down, we go back to poignant moments of the story, saying that, like, with everything Taehyung has seen, especially with what happened in chapter 18, he would have left. And I think that's also a hint to Nahe Soo herself that, like, the feelings are probably way more deeper than she gives it credit for. Because he has seen her in vulnerable states. You can keep scrolling down. But the thing was is that she wasn't angry anymore about the possibility that he's a gigolo. It was just that she was kind of hurt. But one thing that was pretty incredible about this chapter, in my opinion, during her monologue, was that, first and foremost, we're going to need to see all of these things. She recognizes that, like, for example, when she asks questions like, oh, how old are you? Oh, I'm an adult. she asks this question about 3 times before chapter 27. Yeah, before chapter 28 actually, and he actually confessed that, oh, I'm 23 years old. You can keep scrolling down. Thank you, digital girl. And obviously the question about his company, and he just said, oh, it's just some random company. Obviously he has this pattern of very deep things. He just doesn't give like a straightforward answer or a detailed answer, just like what happened in chapter 12, about his tattoo and about the scars that are under his tattoo. He never really gave like a straightforward answer. And she admitted that he was better at lying than like she expected. So she knows. She knows that like Taeha's lying. She's very aware Taeha's lying. And she said at some point it started to linger like a trace someone left behind. Just like the unfamiliar sense of cologne that suddenly disappeared. So her suspicions are like growing at the seams. Does he really do that type kind of job? Honey, he does not. And then before it's asked, so then we have these panels of Hae Soo's imagination, of Taeha, being a gigolo. I was laughing too much during these panels. Also, I hate the purple shirt. I hate it. I hate it. Everybody knows at this point the study buddy does not like the purple shirt. If there's anything you would like to run, tell me. I'll get you everything. Oh yeah, she thinks he's a gigolo. Oh boy. Um, and yeah, so she thinks. Oh my, he's a good imagination. My goodness, you think he's probably. So the thing was is that during this like her thought process around Takeoff being a gigolo, you think he's scrolling down. Was the fact is that she wasn't. Oh, you can keep scrolling down. It's like one particular panel. She said that scenario wouldn't leave my mind. Him doing that kind of work, the thought would pop into my head so easily. Oh my god, I hate that shirt even more than the other shirt. Those lips that only ever say what I want to hear. Those intoxicating eyes. What woman wouldn't be swayed by an act like that? There are probably tons of women who would want to give him more than just their heart. More than mere a measly 2001. More than some cheap teddy bear. And this is when we get to the flashback with Min Chol. So this was just a random person who was basically telling her that there's a person that Min Chol who's attracted to Min Chol who comes from a lot of money. And she was basically saying that like Mitchell also had the same opportunity to be able to kind of run away from the relationship and go into a more suitable thing. But it also allowed Hae Soo to kind of reflect on the fact that, first and foremost, that she could have done more to like reassure that everything was going to be okay, instead of like silently being able to trudge through everything. But this person is saying in particular that's extremely important to the chapter is that if it weren't for you, Kang Min-chul wouldn't have wrecked his life. He could have lived comfortably. And the thing is that when someone tells you that, oh my gosh, you being in a relationship with someone basically ruined their life, that is not something that can be like easily, passed over. So she's still having these the reflections of like kind of like the old days of the beginning stages of the relationship. Obviously how Mitchell was kind of like the type helping out the elderly inside in their community. Even when nothing to his name, words of his dazzling youth was often passed around from people's lips as if it were a commodity to be sold. And this person said, he's a nobody, but having good looks somehow makes him more valuable. And the thing is that You can also see this kind of in his workplace, that his body type and like how he looks allowed him to have more of an advantage. And because of how she thought of how Mitchell was in his youth, she thought about how Taeha probably was at the very same. Now, I don't know if this is actually a real panel of how Taeha was as a teenager. I don't think so, because I don't think Taeha would be the one to try and beat people up. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe he's in a fight with Tahi, because Tahi likes picking a fight with everybody. Um, and then we get to this part of the story where Mitchell's basically saying, "It's your fault." Oh, honey. The reason I live like this it's all your fault, not Hae Soo. I There were so many things I couldn't say to the young Kang Mitchell. I wanted to tell him to not be so shaken by what people said. That somehow we would make it out of the misery as long as we were together. Back then, I was too young too. And instead of clinging to him and pleading for him to stay by my side, I just held his tired looking hand, secretly afraid he might change. So this is important because Nahisa was thinking back to the relationship and saying, like, I should have communicated more, especially when she knew that things were looking rough, essentially, for the relationship. But instead, she kind of just did not say anything. She didn't really communicate her feelings. And because she's having the same thought process, she's just trying to she decided to, and she's actually trying to ensure that she communicates her feelings to Taeha so she doesn't end up losing him as well. We endured and we reached 34. Nahi So ended up becoming a timid, lacking adult. And then there's a flashback to chapter 7 saying, I don't want to go home. So she's thinking still that Taeha is not having a good home life. What she doesn't know is that Taeha has his own place, his own penthouse even. And then we get this panel. Just this once, before it's too late, I want to say it. So she wants to have that communication. So I think the communication that everybody is expecting and everybody is wanting for, I personally want it to be a forced event just because I'm messy. Hello, is this Double real estate? So she ends up calling a real estate company. Even if this life has been completely crushed by misfortune, let's strengthen up and endure just a little longer. So then she's asking, I would like to look at a house. It's small and shabby, but if you don't mind, you can rest by my side there. Yes, please call me. So, a couple important things. If that is the reason you're doing that kind of job, I wonder if you can quit now. So she's thinking, like, okay, you know what? As long as he's now working a better job, or like he could be able to quit now that he can move to a nicer place. And she said that I'll scrape money together and find a place to live, even if it means not having to grind myself down to nothing again. But then in the next panel, she's shaking. The truth is that I'm not really sure. I don't think Naheso really wants to do that again. She doesn't want to work 5 jobs again and then suffer through all of the things she went through again. Is it him living in such a misery that irks me? Or is it the thought that he could be charming some other woman somewhere I can't see? Girl, just say you're obsessed with him. It's okay. That truly bothers me. She's a little obsessed with him. She's a little obsessed with him. And then we get to this panel. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I was reading this, I just finished my lashes. I was coming out of the salon. Eyes still burning with glue, and I see 6 rings. I see him shopping for rings, and I'm just like, what's going on? So we go through this entire segment of Taeha basically looking for wedding rings. Chapter 46's cover is basically Nahe So having all 10 of her hands filled with luxurious diamond rings, and even a diamond pendant that looks like it's for Swarovski. And basically, the saleswoman is pitching that, it's something enchanting, You see it, it looks incredible, it looks amazing. So Taeha is obviously smiling to himself. Do you happen to know the ring size of the person that you're buying it for? And then we go to a flashback to the iconic episode, chapter 45 with the Aquarian date. And the way that he was able to measure it was basically to actually feel kind of the circumference of her finger, basically just by like holding her hand. So we have those couple panels of her, of him, kind of feeling and trying to see that. I didn't actually know he was actually going to buy the ring, so I'm shocked. Actually, I'm not shocked. So she says to stop doing it because it tickles her, which was so cute. I really like those episodes. They were the best. So he keeps seeing the rings, and then obviously it's not. He says it's the perfect fit. It feels exactly like Hae Soo's fingers. It's the same size as Hae Soo's fingers. And then he's like, please make. So he asks and requests to make it into not the appropriate ring size. And she says that she's going to draw up the contract as soon as possible. And obviously, the salesperson says like the person who's probably receiving it is like super lucky since you already knew the correct fit just by looking at her hand. And yeah, so she starts prepping up the contract. It's actually a lot of work to get a diamond ring. And then we see Lee J again. Everybody say hi to Lee J and pray for him at the same time. So he says that Teha has acquired a new hobby of buying rings. I need to like sit down for a bit and understand why he bought rings, but he bought exactly 6 rings. And one is completely shown. Rings, 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 and more rings. Oh, Lee J, it's okay. Here we go again with. So basically, it was like, how long has it been since he's been playing the role of the frugal man, only to blow money like a maniac? He only spends what he needs. And then we actually have a chibi Lee J. And actually, the day he said that, what is it called? He said that Teha is frugal in chapter 51. So, and that's actually what the little note is. So go to chapter 51 to see that. So he says that his health, his wealth is something that he was actually supposed to hide. So why is he now spending money recklessly? I think it's a way of like an outlet for him. But when we go back to chapter 57, which we have these flashback chapters here of Lee J's words, the bond between a married couple is stronger than you think. And even though Lee J was saying that towards Hae Soo and Minchul, Taeha probably thought to himself that if they were a married couple, their bond will actually be stronger. So I don't know, I think he really took the words to heart. And he thinks that he kind of made a mistake now that he's now showing wedding rings. He doesn't even know any. Anyways, I'll just pretend I didn't see. You're not going to have to pretend any longer. Anyways, we're going to keep on going. I think this is where the cover will be. And then we get Ari. So Yoon Ari is heading down to a convenience store. And then we get flashbacks. Please get that. We get flashbacks to that. But then there's a conversation between Mitchell and Ari about the fact that, Ari's kind of confused about why Mitchell is ending up using contraceptives again. And he said that, it's obvious that why we have to use contraceptives. But a few days ago, she was saying that a few days ago, basically, chapter 57, we didn't use one. And that's because he decided to bang her in a rage. Anyways, so she thought that, it was because Mitchell has finally made the decision to, start a family and to take the relationship seriously. I made up my mind about what. That was just a mistake. A mistake. So you make mistakes all the time. Opa, you didn't use one in the car either. That's back in chapter 11. So he said forget it, and then he decided to go to sleep because, you know, he killed his own mood. And obviously Ari was upset because it's like, why are you just gonna cut off the conversation there? Like there has to be like an actual discussion about what's going on. Anyways, so she goes into the convenience store and the clerk asks is like, what you're looking for. And this is the last panel within the episode. Can I have a pregnancy test kit, please? And that is the end of chapter 66 of Tears on a Withered Flower. Um, so I haven't had a chance to look through the chat. I feel like I'm going to see a lot of things, but I'm excited. Anyways, let us go. So you can, at this point in time, have, if you have any thoughts, feelings, you know, about the chapter. We are trying to make an Ari sticker. That is a work in progress. If you want to come up to the audience, there is a button that has like a hand and like 3 lines. You can be able to do that. If you don't want to, you know, be on the audience to speak, you can be able to speak on the chat, and I will monitor the chat, and Digital Girl will take it from here.
Hello, everybody. So, thank you, Study Bunny, for the recap. There's a lot going on in this chapter. Very unexpected. It's outside of the scope of the predictions that we've commonly seen, even in our channels. And if I have to say so myself, I really am reeling just a little bit because we see parts of the story accelerating, and the part that's the gaps that are there are getting wider, and everyone's at this point, if I have to say so, freaking delusional. I don't know. Everything's a car wreck waiting to happen, right? This isn't the calm before the storm. This is just people accelerating on the gas, and we're about to crash. So
That is so right.
What other people are thinking, but honestly, you know what? Let me just start with Ari. I'm gonna start with the end. Might as well start with the end, right? Because I have so much to say about Ari and her Delulu bill. No, Auntie Laura, we still cannot hear you, my love.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
We need to talk about that immediately, because let's start from the Ari, because the thing about it is she wants to get pregnant, and Mincho shut her down early on. He's like, why would you want to do that? He didn't want to hear that nonsense. She's like, you don't take me seriously, and I know I love you more than you love me. And she wants to start a family, and she said that she would back up and talk to him about it later, right? But because Mincho approached her in a moment of distress after ghosting her for a day, not even like full, like ghosting her for an afternoon, and then he basically, without a, you know, lack of a better word, hate fucked her while thinking of Hae Soo without a condom. Now she thinks that it's time to have a family. I don't understand what exactly her mental, like, she needs to go see the lady. She needs a mental health professional to talk to her, because there's no way in my mind I would say, hey, I want to have a child with this man right now. He rejects my food, tosses me aside, doesn't talk to me, and came back beat down. And I think it's time that we raise a family. And Lena, I see you in the chat. You're saying she subconsciously thinks that he's going to leave her, and this desperate grab to like basically keep him by her side is so sad. She's not a child, y'all, and I hate that people infantilize her. But this desperation to bring a child into a world where you have dysfunction when you do not have to do this is so disgusting. Actually,
It,
it's really
it's
disgusting.
it's so common though in real life to see people
Yeah.
who are in relationships that they know it's failing, especially one that is born out of adultery,
Yeah.
and thinking that a baby is going to actually save the relationship and be the proof of their love. And I'm here like, girl, you're gonna want to run. You're gonna want to run real away. You're gonna want to run away. And oh man, and this is gonna be. She literally said, this author said, you know what? Chaos. Why not?
Chaos reigns. The thing
Can
about
I
it
speak
is,
about this?
Yes,
uh,
go for it, Chrissy.
Okay, so part of me kind of feels bad for Ari because, like, I know she's crazy. They're both crazy, but part of me feels like she doesn't deserve to have like his child. Like, I just feel really bad for her.
well, the
I
thing about it
it's
is,
true.
and
I
I'd
feel
love to address this. He turned her down when she addressed the idea of getting married and having a kid. He turned her down, right? He said, no, it's not the time. You're still young. You should enjoy your youth, right? Not only that, their situation is not that great. And on top of that, she mentions, oh, you made the mistake before, mentioning, okay, they had unprotected sex that time that he came home beat up. But the time that she told
Didn't he
him
say it
it
was
was
an
a safe
accident
date,
though?
huh? He said it was
Didn't
an
he?
accident. He did
Yeah.
say it was an accident, but the first time wasn't an accident. She told him it was a safe day. He said he wasn't even going to try to have sex with her. He was just going to like rub up against her. And she's like, no, Oprah, you can do it. It's a safe day.
Okay,
So,
then it is her fault.
like, she lied. And even if you don't know, because, the pull out method is not a guaranteed way of doing things. Even tracking your like ovulation is not is not a sure proof method
But
to
if
prevent
she gets
pregnancy.
pregnant, like, do you think that she'll carry the baby, or do you think she'll miscarriage?
Absolutely. She has, I think she's going to carry the baby. Maybe something tragic will happen because, Minchell is not the most stable person and she's not mentally stable either. They don't know how to have a discussion. She might stress herself out and stress him out. And he is on the verge of leaving. So he might just have a kid
Yeah,
in the
I
middle.
don't like. Would she like leave him with him and just the baby, or do you think he would leave her first?
I don't think she's leaving anyway. That's her house.
No, I'm talking
What
about like who would leave the relationship first, Ari or Mincho?
Mitchell? Mitchell's gonna try to escape. Come
no, but
on.
I don't even think like she's gonna even be able to carry that baby to term. I'm so sorry, and I'm so sorry
I
if this
know
trigger.
why. I know.
He's a smoker.
Because
He's a drinker. He
he's
doesn't
like
work out.
infected.
No, well, girl, there's been studies about sperm virality, right? About like if you drink a lot, if you smoke a lot, right? If you don't work out,
Yeah,
if you
his
right,
lifestyle choices doesn't like work at isn't good.
yeah. So
No.
his sperm being weak, I don't even think it's going to last very long. I am so sorry. I'm actually taking this with super seriousness. She's not on birth control
No.
because she's asking Minchol about the contraceptives. So we have to assume that she's actually not on any birth control whatsoever. And um, I don't even think Ari would even at this point want to be on contraceptives because she wants to have that golden ticket. I'm going to use quotation marks. That golden ticket to be able to have something to pull it. But I'm in the camp, honestly, that she's not pregnant, but she's going to lie that she's pregnant. And the thing is that this is honestly a very safe way. Um, okay, that's actually a very safe way for her to be able to jump ship, right? But also at the same time, she's going to see Mitchell's true colors no matter what. So in my
Yep.
mind, I'm like, it doesn't even matter if she's not pregnant because, and this
She's
is why
gonna
I'm like,
pause the recording.
okay, so just to know, the recording's being paused. So put in any questions you guys have in the chat.
But as I was saying, they use no protection. They don't know the meaning of it, and he uses condoms to piss off Minchell, and that's it.
Yeah, from day one, he was smashing. He was diving in the ocean without a scuba suit, and
That's the best way to explain it. Oh my
Can,
god.
can we not remind the study bunny about it, because that's just like the equivalent of seeing Teha in a purple shirt. Why am I seeing Teha in a purple shirt and in an ugly ass shirt again?
you
Like
know,
He looks good in purple.
Gigolo Teha is, I find it hilarious and also rather intuitive that she would think that he would be a gigolo because of his aversion to straight answering questions about what he does, and also the fact that he's young. He wears expensive clothes. Um, he's rather shady and suspicious. Um, she has all the reasons to believe. I mean, like, she's like, he must be out here in the streets being a sugar baby, which is so funny to me. But also, like, I think that's intuitive, because there's no way she could know he's an undercover table. Like, that's not
Guess so,
possible.
but I just think it's really interesting that that's the first place that her mind goes to, goes there. And I kind of wonder why. Like, why would you, why would you think that he's a gigolo? I mean, there's so many, like, other explanations. Like, maybe, he's into drugs, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just, I don't know. Like, I just kind of feel like that is just like a super weird, like, rabbit to follow. Because I feel like there could be so many other explanations. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
Auntie,
I was just like, what?
you want to know why? You want to know why she thinks that? Because he be putting it down in the bedroom that she cannot figure out where he
Yeah.
got those skills from.
I
And
mean, there's the internet and there is porn. I mean,
there's internet.
you can do a lot of research by reading.
Yeah, I don't know why she thought
Reading is
that either.
fundamental.
you got
But also, he's charming. He's charming. He says what she wants to hear. He's constantly trying to woo her. He's always sweet to her. Um and but she can't
She's
seem to
so in
figure out what he
denial.
does. She's in denial, but she's not in denial. I don't think, to be honest with you. I think she's like, yo, you're being suspicious. You're dodging questions. Now she's realizing that he doesn't answer questions at all. Like, literally,
Mm.
from chapter 12 on, when she was like, "Oh well, I
Yeah.
asked him how old you," and it's like there's no reason for you to be shifty unless you either are ashamed of what you do or you're living a double life. And he's living a double life. He's not ashamed of what he does, but he can't reveal it. So I'm not mad at her for thinking he works at a host club and he's
It's funny
wooing women.
how he bought 6 rings, and then Lee J's reaction is like, this dude's a full on crazy maniac.
He knows he's a maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I
then
feel like with Lee
he,
J, he's just like, these rich people are just, they're just so damn crazy.
yeah,
Like,
but
that's what
the
his expression was saying to me.
the part where Lee J was saying, like, he has the wealth, but he doesn't, like, he can't tell it to Hae Soo. And like, he's like, why would he buy 6 rings if he can't show it?
Yeah, that's a good question, because they're not at a point in their relationship where he could be perfectly honest
It's in
about
his
who he is and what
collection. It's in the shrine.
it's in the shrine, and he
Well,
just throws it onto the table where it could be easily found. Study buddy, you're not
Oh my
melting
god, the
down green.
daddy would lose his shit.
yeah, but maybe it's because he wants to give her, like, the choice of, like, which ring. And I see somebody, like Lena, I think that's how they say
Yeah.
their name, is saying that they have a theory. So I'm just, kind of killing time until we can see what they're
I just
writing. But
I just
I did
think
want to.
buying 6 rings. Didn't he buy every one of those rings that the lady showed?
Well,
I
I
think
will
he's
say,
by 10.
yeah, I was gonna say too. I kind of feel like with what we know of like Teha's personality, like I feel like he just wants to give her like
He wants to
everything
give her
he can.
everything he has.
Yeah, so
I
that
mean,
that's
the
what that
dude went
kind of
around
says
and
to
gave her
me.
like $60,000 out of nowhere. So I mean,
I mean,
100
she didn't
million
take
won
it
out of
though.
nowhere is crazy. I'm just saying
Yeah,
he
but she
offered
didn't
it.
take it. But but that just goes to
He won't
show,
take
like,
petty.
what he's willing to do to, like, provide for her.
Hmm.
But I did want to bring up, like, real quick, talking about, like, Ari and Minchol. Like, I find it very funny that he is now doing the same shit that he did to Hae Soo. He is now
Mhm.
doing that to Ari. And I was like, girl, now you know what you in for. But I feel like with their dynamic, it's going to be more explosive because I can
Oh,
see, like, we've
yeah.
kind of seen it a little bit, like when she went off, like when he wouldn't eat her braised ribs, like he got like super emo thinking about how it's not Jesus ribs or something,
Mhm.
and she's like, "Oh, look what I did!" And then he just walks out, and she's like, "Where are you going? Don't turn your back on me." So I have a feeling that like she is gonna go down fighting for him for whatever reason.
Fighting
She is
him.
not going to, you know, she's just not gonna give up on him, and I think that's gonna be to his detriment. Um,
Yeah.
you know.
She's
But
gonna
It's gonna
anyway,
sneak.
like dig him into his own grave.
I
Yep.
mean, he's
She's
already in it.
Well,
He just
yeah,
won't
he
yeah.
know
is,
it.
but I'm just saying it'll be like even deeper.
You
Yeah,
know what's
Taggart
gross?
said it very well. Cray cray baby mama. Um,
Cray cray baby mama
yeah,
indeed.
cray
You
cray.
know what's really gross though, honestly, and I saw this comment when I was like reading through Bato, and I agree with this. He's out here getting his knob slobbed and all over Ari while trying to like correctly protect himself from her from having unwanted children, half unwanted children. But what is he doing to help the person he continuously calls his wife? He's not even searching for her. Like we
Mm-mm.
saw him in the previous chapter standing all happy go lucky in the corner, smoking a cigarette at work, acting like life is all good. And now he's like, we get to see him again, indulging himself as he always does. And this
Because
Yep.
is after his
they're
history of abusing Nahe So and treating her like trash, even from the youth. I love that gae-nim actually exposed the fact that he has made Nahe So into this downtrodden figure from the very beginning. Like once he realized that the life that they were going to lead was not going to be easy and it wasn't going to be the charm life that he was accustomed to, he blamed her for it all. You could have laughed.
Mm-hmm.
So does
I
not
was. Yeah, and that's another thing that I wanted to bring up for discussion too. Like, I really don't think that it's fair that he put all that blame on her, and she
mm-hmm.
in turn like internalized it and really felt that it was her fault. But it's like, if she was like a real person, the first thing I would want to do is take her aside, give her a hug, and say, "It is not your fault. It takes two to
Yep.
tango. He made some crap decisions. You are with someone who doesn't care about you. And why would you stay with someone who blames you for everything and doesn't take any personal responsibility
Yep.
whatsoever?" Like that. Like, I really wish I could do that for her. I mean, she's obviously a fictional character, but that like pissed me off when I read that. I was like, oh, hell no, he didn't just try to blame her for all that. It's not her fault. You were the one that made the shady decisions. Like, why is it her fault? just because I mean, it's not like he didn't know what he was getting into when he
Yep.
stayed with her, too. It's like you knew what you were getting into. You knew about her baggage. You knew her background. You knew she couldn't bring much money to the table. And yet you were the one who built her up, told her she could trust you. And then this is what you do to her? Nah, bro.
Mhm.
You need to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. That just, ooh, that made me so mad, you know.
And
But
this
that's
is
how you know you're
young
reading a
Nahe
good story.
So. The young Nahe So, who is still stuck in the same neighborhood, he blamed her for their situation when he could have exited stage left. Now, I firmly believe that Nahe So would have had a hard time, but she would have eventually escaped her situation
Mhm.
on the strength of her own merit. And I
Mhm.
feel so bad for this young woman that she was in the 13 years she spent trying to piece together the broken shards of her relationship with Minchol to make it work because it was somebody that she held dear. And he love bombed her into the
Yeah, he
relationship.
really did. Like gave her a phone and, I mean, I don't know. Like I just don't get, you know, how he could do that to her, knowing what he knows about her, knowing, and I know he is a narcissist, and I agree with that 110%. But I guess because I'll be honest, like I don't think I've ever come across a narcissist. I've read about them, but there are some things that just don't make sense to my mind, and I just don't think that, blaming her, you know, it it just screams to me he doesn't know how to take personal responsibility for anything, and
Yep.
I feel like that's a lot of why he is in, the shitty position in life is because he didn't man up and do what he was supposed to do. Like if he would have just exactly like Tagurit is saying it's never their fault.
Never.
And then yeah, and then Rahima was saying it boggles my mind how he never knew where she worked. Yeah, like that is just total like obliviousness, and that is like neglect in my personal humble opinion. Like how can you claim to care about someone and you don't even know where they work, and you didn't even think about them until you started getting tired of your side piece, you know because she's young and dumb, and and you don't want to deal with that kind of crap no more, so now you want to go back to your ex and then have the nerve to get mad. Anyways, I could go
Meanwhile,
off
he
on
still
him.
hasn't heard anything from Nahe So, right? She hasn't. She was never gonna call him back. He deleted his
Mm-mm.
number anyway, but he hasn't heard anything from his wife and hasn't gone out anywhere to try to find her. And I find that so crazy, shocking, and really disgusting because beyond his interactions with Ari, he keeps trying to like hold Ari at bay. Um, but
Bunny,
he
we can't
also,
hear you. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
no, we can't hear you at
Or
all.
not yet.
Y'all are trading off. Um, he's holding Arya at bay because he doesn't want to have the big argument that they're gonna have, which could like leave him unhoused. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not doing anything to help or save his ex-wife because it's not his wife. Nahe So is a free agent.
There you
Yep,
go.
Um,
exactly. Oh, now we can hear
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Anyways, I was gonna make some comments on the some stuff in the chat. First and foremost, Claude was asking about whether or not South Korea does have a zero tolerance drug policy, and they do. So that is something to note about that. I really wanted to comment on that. And well, one thing's for sure is that Gay has really been listening to us when we ask for more plot progression because what do you mean we're actually going to get the answer to this question like next week, Friday?
man, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with that. I mean, we could be kind of wrong with the pregnancy test thing, but in my heart of hearts, and I am not the best at predicting, but I really, really feel in my heart of hearts that the baby trap has sprung. I
Yep.
really, really feel that way. So,
If even if she's not pregnant, she's gonna lie about the fact that she is pregnant because it's like, well, she really wants that attachment. But one thing that's really getting to me is that this is the same man. Mitchell is not acting like he's absolutely devastated with what happened and the fact that Nahiso is possibly in the hands of debt collectors. And
Mm-hmm.
not
mm-hmm.
really, like this is the person that we should be rooting for, to be
he
running
doesn't
to
even
get
he
his
doesn't
wife.
even he doesn't even
He
go to
doesn't.
her previous jobs. He doesn't even try to go back to where she lived. He doesn't do
I'm not seeing
anything.
a panel of him panicking, throwing up, you know, pissing his pants. I'm not seeing him, like, look for him. But no, uh, like
Useless.
if someone in chat on Twitter said that, based on like what happened in chapter like 58, if the financial situation did not get better, there would have been a very high chance that Mitchell would have like pimped Naheso out in this weird way. And I'm just like, with the way this man acts, he probably would have, and I don't like to think about that. But no, William Mitchell's acting, I'm just like, I'm happy he's gonna have like a lot more worse. But he's just proving to himself that he does not care. He doesn't care.
Mm-mm.
Because what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, my legs took me back to this place. Your legs should take you to find where your wife works. How do you marry someone for 13 years and you don't know where they work? How?
Exactly.
Don't know where they were. And
Ah,
what you know what? I saw a
oh.
request in the chat, y'all, from Lena to address the man who confronted Nahe So when she was younger about her relationship with Minchol and how if he wasn't dating her, he would have a better life. And I just want to say something real quick because I know, like, any, I think that guy was definitely someone who's either a friend of Minchol's or associated well with him. And that conversation for a man who is not in a relationship with Naheso, not doesn't seem to be a friend to Naheso, to feel so comfortable approaching her and basically insulting her is indicative of the type of friendships that he had with people that I feel like Minchal was telling other people that his relationship with Naheso was dragging him down.
Mm.
Nobody would feel
Mm.
comfortable approaching someone's girlfriend and saying if he wasn't with you, he'd have a better life. And this man's talking about if I wasn't with you, have a better life. That person's just echoing something that he heard. You should never, no man should ever feel comfortable approaching their friend's girlfriend that way. And
Yeah.
that pisses me off so much that she had to endure the abuse from her father. I don't know about her mother, but it definitely abuse from her father. She gets love bombed by this guy who's like wants to pretend that he's her hero, knowing full and well that she lives in a household that is unfortunate and he wants to save her. But the minute things get rough, he basically blames her, acts downtrodden, and then it's probably talking about her behind her back.
Yeah,
Well,
I saw that guy and I was just like, what are you doing and why is it your business?
mhm.
Like,
He thinks it's his business. Mitchell has already established that, like, oh, anybody can easily talk to, like, my wife about, like, how much of a mistake she is to the relationship. But something of note, Kim V was basically saying, that's what I'm thinking. Because in the episode when he confronted him, I think he's trying to be delusional by claiming she can't get another man, but he saw her panties on the floor and the condom, and he went back to think about it. And I'm telling you, that's why he made that face while he was banging Ari, because he was like, no, MF way she's getting sick when she wouldn't make time for me. But this is also the same episode where he was having monologues when he was approaching the house about how Nahe So should be grateful that
Yep.
he's
Mhm.
doing all of this
Yes.
stuff. So that dichotomy was something that was like absolutely obvious. He was upset that Nahe So was what is it called, making him do things when no one asked him to nobody was asking Minchul to stroll up on the house. Well, I mean, we all wanted it, but nobody was asking him to come back, and he was
Yeah.
being
He just assumed that she wanted him back. I mean, that's just how like delusional this dude is. Like
Mhm.
she has not contacted you. And this is what really gets me. This is what really gets me. The fact that this motherfucker told his young ass girlfriend, "Oh, she's a stalker. She won't leave me alone." But yet, you haven't heard from her in like 2 months. And you are just now wondering, you out of the blue, because now you're getting tired of your side piece. You're
Mhm.
getting tired of dealing with her like young girl BS. So now you want to go back to your ex, who you keep claiming you're not married to, but you get mad when other people express interest. And then out of the blue, you text her because you think she's going to make you some fucking ribs. Like, come on, dude. Like, what the actual F, like, whatever
Yeah.
you're on, I mean, I would really like to know, because who in
Crack.
their right mind would think that that would totally be okay? Oh, well, hi, I'm just gonna come back, and hey, will you make some ribs for me? I know I haven't talked to you in like 2 months because you found me, fucking my girlfriend in our bed that you had to clean up.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean,
Ugh.
I'm wondering if maybe in one of those fights he just got hit in the head way too much, and this is why he's like stupid. I don't
Are you
know.
saying he has CTE?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You're saying he has CTE? Cranium damage from repeated blows to the head?
I mean, he could. I mean, what
Yeah.
other explanation is there? I mean, I'm sure there's
Raheem
others,
must,
but
Raheem said that Tejas should have hit him harder. And
I
I agree with
mean,
you.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just really don't get it. And like
Me
sometimes
either.
when you read like manhwa, like you read the most really ridiculous things. Like, like I do like romantasy is like my guilty pleasure, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I love stuff like, the remarried empress and who stole the empress, and, a few of those like regression stories. But like sometimes like the villain, like they just do things because you know that they're the villain, and it's like, okay, whatever. But like with this guy, I just look at it and I'm just like, wow. And it's not even like that much out of an outrageous thing of what he's doing compared to like some of the other antagonists in some of the other manhwas. But like this dude is just on a whole different level. you know I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, it makes more sense to me that like, the regressed empress is going against her ex who like shot her and whatever. But with Minchol, it's just on a whole different level. You know, just the
Delusion.
Delulu of it all.
The Delulu of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
actual chapter should have been just labeled delusion. It started with Nahe So's delusion about
Mhm.
it not being a gigolo, which as I said before, is a plausible thought, given her interactions, including physical, emotional, and confrontational. Things haven't been things are shifty. So she was like, maybe he has a shifty job. And
Mhm.
he makes some money off of it because his man hoardness is on like 1000%. So we have, Nahe So's delusion, but at the same time, she's like, I will save him if I can, by providing him with a safe space where we can both be happy, and I'll burn myself to the ground to keep him from having to do something that he shouldn't have to do, and also to keep him away from women because now she's getting jealous, which I love,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
delusion number one, then we have delusion number two
Oh,
with
girl. I read
Ari.
that and I was like, don't do that to yourself. Please don't do that to yourself.
Oh well,
But
actually, she's delusion number three, but delusion number two is Teha, and it's 27 rings that
oh
no one ever
boy.
does. Like, delusion is all right that nice. You're gonna present any of those rings to Nahe So before you present her with the actual freaking truth. And
Yeah.
delusion number 86 in Teha's plan is all right. You're throwing all these rings on the table for anybody to see, and spending copious amounts of money that would raise a red flag to anybody who's monitoring your account. What are we trying to do here? Because
Yeah. Good night, Chrissy. I think I might have missed her, but I just wanted to wish her good night.
good
Um,
night. Like, what are we
but
trying to do here?
but I am gonna read a couple of comments.
Yeah.
So one that I wanted to read was let's see, um, where was it? I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through. Here we go from Lena. She says, I honestly don't blame him to think she wouldn't leave him. And I think this is talking about, Nahe Soo and, Minshit. He's been testing the water slowly and she fell for the slippery slope. You guys also have to remember he's all that she has. Or actually, I'm wondering if maybe that is talking about Ari. Because I don't know. Because I kind of feel like with Minchol, I feel like he has been kind of like testing the waters with Ari. Like, I think he's getting to the point where he's kind of getting tired of her. But obviously she is a relationship of convenience because he doesn't have a place to live. We know
Right.
that he is paying his debt, so we don't know, if he really has the funds to live on his own. So, and yeah, and not only and I'm sorry, Avervel. I apologize if I did not pronounce your name correctly. But they are saying that Ari knows Minchol doesn't like her. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear because you can just see it with like his body language with her now. Because I kind of feel like, they started off hot and heavy, and like now the honeymoon period is kind of over. And if anybody who's ever been in a relationship, when you first get in it with someone, it's like you can't keep your hands off each other. And then you just kind of like, then you kind of settle and it gets comfortable. And honestly, I don't think that's what Minchol wanted. I think he just wanted to have a fling. I think he just
Mhm.
wanted something different. You know, I think he wanted something that was not Nahe Soo, and now that he's got it, he doesn't want it. And I think it's because of the potential baggage. Like, I kind of feel like, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, I kind of feel like Minchol just doesn't want to deal with anybody's baggage. Which in some ways I can kind of understand, but it's like he's got baggage of his own, which I don't
He
think he realized he's carrying. But I think he
is
just
the
wants
holy
it
Paul
easy,
drug.
is how it comes across to me.
You know, I'll say this about Minchal, right? Um, I feel like Lena echoed a sentiment of Minchal, like literally POV of Minchal. Oh, there has been many times that things have happened, and she's always forgiven me because she has nobody else but Min Chol. And she's always
Mhm.
worried about what Min Chol's doing. And she's always forgiving Min Chol. And she's always crying for Min Chol. So that's his sentiment, right? But the thing about it is that Hae Soo has been proving for a very long time that she doesn't actually need Kang Min Chol. Okay,
Mm-mm.
it started with the fact that even though he and she ended up in a shit ton of debt. How much we don't know yet, but it's outside the scope of what they could easily pay. She was the one who was the primary breadwinner in the house. He was not helping. He was drinking. He no longer was a helpful boy that he was. She was working, job after job to rob Peter to pay Paul. So
Mhm.
the house that they live in, the rent that was paid by her. The suits that he wore to go to an interview for a job that he didn't even deserve was because she paid for it. The cologne that he bought was because she paid for it.
Yep.
The budget
Mhm.
and the bills and the food and everything is because she did it. And as soon as he was gone, she did not call him. She didn't write. She knows where he works, and she didn't go.
Mhm.
And going back to the common theme of this actual chapter, delusion, he has put himself in a state to believe that she would thinks that he is all she has. But the real reality is that it is a double cross. He is the only thing that he had. He does not have Hae Soo anymore. He
Mm-mm.
doesn't
He
have
doesn't.
he doesn't have a circle of support. He doesn't even have a real job. All he has right now is Ari, and he don't want her, so she's not something he has because he doesn't want her. So people are not so delusional and caught up in their own ego. They do not realize that they have lost everything they have. And Ari's on that good old track to do the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, like I kind of feel like Minchol has not quite hit rock bottom yet. And I think that is when everything is going to come crashing down on him like big time. Like I kind of feel like he's had some like dumb luck. I mean, I'm not saying that he was living large and in charge, like this whole time, but he had it better than some other people would have in his situation. You know what I mean? Like at least he had Hae Soo to help support him when he wasn't working. Um, so I kind of feel like it's going to have to come down to him having nothing and no one in order for him to really figure it out. I
Yep.
think he's going to have to hit absolutely rock bottom. I think he's going to have to jump off like the type of like fall I'm talking about is like jumping off a
Mhm.
skyscraper and like smacking the pavement. Like that's how deep
For it.
and that's how high he's going to have to fall. Because if you really think about it, Minchol actually has a lot of pride. Like
Yep.
and so does Sue to an extent. But I kind of feel like with Minchol, that is more to his detriment. And I think that when it finally hits him that she is not coming back, she has, she has said her goodbyes and she's like, F you, I'm going to do my own thing. I don't need you anymore. I think when he finally falls, I think that's when it's going to hit him the hardest. And I
Mhm.
think it will take him a very, very, very long time to recover from that. If
Yep.
he ever does recover. Because, I mean, that's, for him, that's going to be very big, especially since he has no family. The only person he really has right now that even, like, kind of cares about him is Ari. And even then, to me, that's questionable. And that's a very sad situation to be in, even for Minshit.
I think honestly, like the whole situation with Ari, the way she's operating is pride as well. Because you are dealing with a man who is in many ways rejecting you and saying he doesn't want you unless it's for sex. He
Mm-hmm.
he, he has declined every request to push their relationship, which shouldn't be pushed any further, to be honest, to the next level. Talking about marriage, mind you, we're a few months in. We're not really that far out from chapter 18. There's the spring hasn't even come yet, and this child's talking about getting married. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
and having a baby. So the fact that she continues to push him on this, and she's at this point she's yelling about it, is batshit crazy because you are stuck on something that you think will build like you deserve,
Mm-hmm.
rather than thinking about the fact that this is not the time, place, or occasion to start talking about family planning and marriage when both of you work at an office job that basically scrapes by. Minchall has told you he has no family. He doesn't really have any money. He's trying to survive off of a, a apprenticeship salary, and he can't afford to raise no kid.
Yeah. And I'd really like to be like a fly on the wall, when she has that conversation with her parents too. Because I really, and I know we've like touched on this before, but, I don't think her family will take it well that she's,
No.
pregnant by some random guy that she works with. So it's, I mean, the drama is going to be amazing, but am I going to feel a little certain type of way about it? Probably, but it's going to be some good drama. Like, I
Oh
mean, this
yeah.
is like some tea that you really want to savor.
It's gonna be a car crash. And if she has the audacity to fake the pregnancy test, or if she is pregnant, I could see that is going to begin the next level of the Minchall crash out because he
Mhm.
doesn't out with her.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
crash he's gonna crash out big time, and that's gonna send him into another spiral because he's going to remember have flashbacks to his relationship and his failed relationship with Hae Soo that he thinks is still ongoing.
Yep.
When it
Mhm.
comes to, that particular issue where she ended up miscarrying their child. And he would still have to continue to free fall to hit rock bottom. And Auntie Laura, you said that you want to see him hit rock bottom, and he hasn't gotten there yet. But he continuously mentions that he still has far to fall. Like he knows that he is stuck in the muck, and he keeps falling more.
Yes.
Like chapter
Mhm.
57, he said, I
Mhm.
still have so far to fall because he realized that those shoes that he saw in the doorway weren't props that Nahisa would go to buy. They were actually a man's.
Exactly. Exactly. And what's weird to me about that whole thing is like how much self-awareness that he has, that he knows that he is falling and he hasn't, finished falling, for lack of a better way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, bro, if you know you're about to hit the pavement, why aren't you trying to get a parachute? You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of feel like, there's so many things that he could be doing to change his situation, but he's not doing it. And I don't know if it's because of laziness. Well, maybe not laziness. I think at this point, he probably has maybe given up on some level. Like, I'm kind of like getting those kind of vibes, where people just are like, you know what, this is the situation I'm in, fuck it. That's kind of what I'm getting. And I don't know if you guys are getting those vibes, but that's kind of like my take. Like, he's just at a point where, all right, Hoodie, thank you for joining us. Um, I don't know. I just kind of feel like he's like getting to that point where, he's just like, fuck it. It is what it is. I'm just here. And I agree with some of the comments here. Like, like Avervel, and again, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right. She was saying that Minchol knows Hae Soo has moved, and that is why, uh, is scared to see Hae Soo. Yeah, definitely. And then Tagurit says learned helplessness. And then Lena is saying, I think he just has no healthy habits.
None.
Yeah, agreed. So he's, I don't know, he's just, oh, it's okay. Hey, I'm having a very hard time pronouncing your name, Avervel. So it is totally fine. I can't tell you how many like typographical errors I make in a day, so you are just fine, honey. No worries. You
What?
know, it is totally fine. Um but yeah, like he's in for it, and I'm gonna be in the front row with some popcorn. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's so many signs that keep popping up where he should stop, and he will not stop. He does not turn around. He just continues to barrel forward into despair. Even at work, the job that he received, he could do a great job. He could have
Mhm.
done amazing. Made some, got out of probation, made some money, brought that home to Nahe. So, like, actually lift them up even ever so slightly out of poverty and into a more stable circumstance. But instead of doing that, he did the worst thing he could do and betray the trust that Nahiso had in him and take on, engage with a young woman who has everything that he wants, but he hates everything about it.
And
Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead. I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt
no,
you. I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
go ahead. No worries.
Oh my god, I try so hard not to talk over people. Please believe
No,
me.
what were you gonna
Um
say?
So I was just gonna read something that Rahima put in the comments real quick. I think it's a really cool question. They are saying, do you think Minshit would ever come across Taehi in the story and thinks he was the one that was at Hae Soo's house?
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I think he would be able to recognize him as someone who looks similar, but I do think that there's a possibility in this universe that they will cross paths, perhaps, but that would require Teiki to go to that office for some reason, if that office is
Mm-hmm.
at Philly. Or like, because right now, Mitchell doesn't even have the capacity to be able to hang out in the streets unless he's getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Because Ari freaks out when she's not like wedged into his ass cheeks and in his pants. So he can't really go anywhere without Ari. So I don't think he would like run into Taehi in the more organic sense unless he like runs away from his home because he's a homosexual and has nowhere to go and he's barred somewhere. He's not going to be in the same kind of like, he doesn't run in the same circles as Taehi. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even run in the same circles as the high school squad either. So I don't think it's going to be organic. There has to be some forced circumstances where they would have to crash into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think that would happen, and it's not plausible until there's more details and plot that will bring them closer.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I know like one of the big theories is that, there's going to be like a Taehi and a Minchol, team up. But I mean, as much as that would kind of make sense, I just don't know, because I kind of feel like Taehi is too much of an asshole, to really think he needs somebody else's help. And I think Minchol would just be like, fuck you, and he would just walk away. And to answer some of the questions in the chat, about this particular topic, there are a lot of theories going on right now that, that there could be a Minchol and Tae team up to get back at Taeha. I as of right now, I don't really foresee that happening just because of their personalities. It's a big fan theory, but to me, as of right now, I personally don't think it holds water, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I'm open to being wrong, but currently. That's why I put the pin in that. Like currently, in the current, like with the current flow of the story, they don't exist on the same social strata.
Yeah, they really don't.
The details that Taehi is going to be able to uncover with his travels is not going to be directly to Hae Soo, because nobody knows who Hae Soo is. She's not a popular person. She's not out in the streets. People don't know her. The only people who've seen her are people who are just like, it's a waitress. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's not on the lips of a
Not
gossipers.
yet.
Yeah, she will be.
Not yet.
Currently,
Yeah.
Hae Soo is still in NPC mode. She's
Yes.
not well known. There's no reason why Taehi would like run into Minchal and be like, "I'm gonna team up with you, guy." And he's not the type. He just doesn't look like the type that would team up with a poor person.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I don't think either one plays well with others, to be honest.
No.
Like, I think,
No.
I kind of feel like Taehi is, like, too full of himself to really ask for help, because I feel like there's so many things he could have done on his way back to Korea, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, but I agree. Like, I just, as of right now, I just don't really see that team up happening. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I just don't see it happening at the moment.
The flower shop girl. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With
So we
her
had a
running
discussion about her.
She messy. I could see the flower shop girl spitting out messy nonsense in the middle of the street about Hae Soo because she's a hater. Wear stupid sweatshirts. So that could
Yeah.
be possible. Like she'll see Taehi and be like, "Oh, there's flower guy," and then realize it's not him, and be like, "Oh," because she's messy. I could see that happening more. I think that might be more plausible than anything else. I think she's nosy and messy enough for that.
Oh, definitely. Like, I kind of feel like, she's the type, she's like what they call a chimosa. So in Spanish, that means like nosy, because I'm Cuban by marriage. But basically, like, they're the old, typically they would be like the old biddies looking out the window trying to see what their neighbors are doing, because they want to know what the tea is, they want the hot goss, like, that's how, like, that particular character comes across to me. Like, the fact that she didn't think it was worth mentioning to Hae Soo that there was some strange guy looking at you, I mean, come on. I think she likes Hae Soo, but I also think she's very jealous of her. Like, I think
Absolutely.
and I think because of like how Taeha kind of shot her down when she was like, "Did you know he was, and then he was like, "Yeah, I know." Shouldn't you be like worried about her? Like, I mean, yeah, jealousy is never a good look on anybody. But like, she was just, I don't know. And like, sometimes like in the beginning of the series, she would say stuff like, "Oh, Uni, you look really nice. You were looking really shabby before." Like, come on. Like, who gives a backhanded compliment unless you a bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you do that? Like,
especially to a woman who would never do that to you.
exactly. Like, Hae Soo is a girl's girl. She is just so, like, she's got a good energy, she's got a good heart, and like, why would you do that to someone? I mean, granted, this girl probably doesn't know what's really going on in her personal life, which I can respect that. However, don't tell somebody, oh, you look really nice today, and then follow with, you usually look pretty shabby. Like, that's
Which is
just kind of like dick on so many levels.
so many levels. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, you know how I feel about her and her little tiny raggedy ponytail and those
Mm-hmm.
stupid overalls and her stupid sweatshirt she's always wearing.
Yep.
She's not actually, coming and dressing to the nines either. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what she's coming out of her mouth talking about how anyone dresses. You don't know people's personal circumstances. And
Exactly.
she's also seen that Nasi Hae Soo like works from dawn to dusk. Like, wouldn't you think that maybe she has money trouble that forces her into it?
Mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
sense whatsoever. Ugh, she's so dusty. Oh,
Yeah.
Rahima's uneven bangs.
Yep. I was gonna say that's probably the reason why she doesn't have anybody to watch the cherry blossoms with.
Jong needs to get a grip and a makeover. Go about your business and buy something new. She's
Yeah.
been side eyeing Nahe So ever since her wardrobe change
Yep.
and being just low key nasty. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Very.
hmm, she
Very.
needs she needs to take a long walk off a short pier too. Her and
Yeah.
Minchoff go hand in hand.
Yep. Oh man. Well, we are getting ready to wrap up. This has been a really fun discussion. But before we do, does anybody have any questions or comments um, that they want to add before we end the discussion? And I see some folks typing, so I'm just going to give it a second. And I got a kitty that jumped on my lap. Rahima says Taehi and Flower Girl are meant for each other. I mean,
Oh, listen,
she's young.
Taehi's like baddies though, baddies and sluts. So I don't think,
Yeah.
and she's not a baddie at all. She's actually, mm,
I mean, she's young, though. He likes
but
them
that's not.
young.
He likes them not older than him. He doesn't like them looking like a kindergartner who got lost and ended up in the flower shop. Like I'm not even like. You know what's really funny? I am not Team Taehi at all. He does dress like a gigolo, by the way. So everything that Nahe So thinks about Taeha is actually Taehi, which
Yeah, it is
makes me
hilarious
giggle.
to me. It is
But
hilarious.
I don't think Taehi would even look twice at her. She is not his type.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, she's young. That's about all she's got.
All
You
she
know what though? I hope she finds somebody that makes her feel better about herself.
I
Even
hope
with her
so.
uneven bangs, that's all she
I
needs. She
hope,
just needs a little bit of flirting. She just needs somebody to lift up that self-esteem, you know. But
you know
yeah.
what? I think she actually measured her self-esteem based off of the fact that yes, Nahe So was pretty, but she's old. She's like, you're
Yes.
an auntie. You're a uni. You're
Mhm.
an auntie. Why, like I see all these men gravitating to you. What do you have that I don't have? Girl, a sense of style. You know what needs to save her? A mirror. Go look into
Yes.
it
Go
and
get them bangs
reflect.
evened out.
Get the bangs even reflect on yourself.
Oh, we're picking on that poor girl.
Somebody
Um,
needs to be been running her
yeah.
mouth for a long time. I don't like how she talks to Nahe So, especially because Nahe So does not disrespect her ever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like Nahe So is definitely like an uni, to the best extent in my humble opinion.
I love her
Um
relationship with Anol, who's the barbecue coworker, because Anol will literally burn
Yes.
she will burn South Korea for Nahe So, and I think that's like
Yes.
the energy that she deserves, because she was literally just like, you got to stay away from that man, because I don't want you to get hurt and everything, and literally she was the one who just assumed that he's a man more because he's
Yep.
too attractive. And I'm like, you know
Yep.
what, that is so valid, because it's like that's a friend thing to do, to like spiral into
Oh,
absolute
totally.
insanity. And it's just
Totally.
that you, with no proof whatsoever, say cut them off. You don't deserve. They don't deserve you. Da 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 da. And I was just like, oh
Oh,
wow.
But that's
But
how
one
you know
thing
you
that I
gotta
really
ride or die,
respected,
though.
I really
mm-hmm.
respected Nahi So for chapter 27, when she literally was just like, she blamed Min Chol for the cheating and did not. She's never blamed Ari at all. She's never blamed
Yeah,
Ari once.
you're an
She's never blamed
adult.
Ari once.
You
Why are
shouldn't
you seducing a young
know that.
woman? That's exact
Yeah,
to her exact words.
yeah, you're
Sheesh.
an adult. You should know better. You should be ashamed of yourself. Are you not,
Hmm.
Mira?
Mm.
Mm,
Well,
Mm,
mm.
it
you
was
know,
definitely a good chapter. I will say that.
you know,
Word.
But
chapter 67. What do we think?
Prediction? I already
Yeah.
put it. Let's see what the polls are saying for the chapter predictions. This is actually like, so I asked only two questions. Is Ari pregnant, and will Ari leave Minchol? Because I said there's yes, no, no, but she will lie that she is, and the winner is no, but she will lie that she is.
Oh
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's on
the
brand for
second
her.
the second biggest was 42% said yes. Then obviously for will Ari leave Minchol,
No,
86% said no. And 14% said yes. So
she
yeah.
not leaving. She's gonna
Mm.
make it miserable. Not only
Hmm.
that, I honestly think that she might be pregnant, and then we would also find out, because we have the parallels, that Nahe So is, out here gestating just the same, having little cells dividing. Because there's only so many times that choo-choo train can run through her tunnel without any guardrails before
Yeah, it's a
we put
matter of
the train
time before
on.
somebody gets pregnant,
Yeah, somebody's gonna get
because
pregnant. It smells
it's
like
like they
pregnancy.
say in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Like,
That's one of my
Please,
favorite sayings.
guys. Every time we talk about Ari, I just like, oh, and then you have to be like, what about Hae Soo and Taehan? I'm just like, shush. We gotta pause that right
I mean, of all the couples, they be getting it cracking,
now.
cracking without guardrails. This is only a matter of time. And you were waiting on that sonogram, girl. You should be worried about all the rings on the
Hmm.
table. Let's spiral on all of those rings, like Ariana Grande's 7 rings. What are we doing here? Why are they on the table? Can't you put them in your underwear drawer? What are we doing?
I mean, you just casually leave that out. Look, I bought rings. Pick one.
I bought 6 rings.
No,
My
no, I
cigarette.
get scared. I get scared. The first time, I was like, you know what? That's not possible. The second time, I was just like, you know what? Let's be careful. 3, 4. I was just like, okay, okay, that's enough, enough. Because they don't do one round and done. No, they go till Todd. I'm just like, shit. This
Yeah.
can't, and it's not like he doesn't know how to pull out. He was a virgin only 30 chapters ago.
I mean, when it's good, it's
Oh,
good.
oh man. And
He only
she thinks
stops when she says she's tired. He said, I'm never finished. I'm never done. And I was like, oh.
I she's literally complaining her back hurts. And I'm just like, oh Lord God Almighty. Maker of heaven and earth, please. No. I'm just like, please, because it's too much of a dumpster fire. It's too much. Now
Everybody's
towards the
like,
end, it's too much. I think for me, I know it's weird. I'm in the camp of if Nahe So ever states that she wants to be a mother, right? If she wants to be a mother again, right? Because I'm also kind of hoping to see kind of like how her positioning is when it came to the possibility of her becoming a mother, right? When she was pregnant the first time around. And then how would she feel again to if that opportunity presented herself? Because I don't want it to be in a situation for Nahe So that it's like, oh, it's something that was forced upon her. But I want it to be a thing of like, okay, this is something that she's been wanting for like a really long time. And after because of the relationship, she couldn't have those hopes and dreams anymore about, starting a family and those things like that. Yeah, but every time they get it on, I just
Well,
have to do the Lord's Prayer. You gotta
yeah.
pray. You
I
gotta
mean, I'm
pray.
every
sure I'm sure that that will probably come into play in the story at some point. I think it's just a
oh
matter of
yeah.
time.
Yep.
I don't think we're quite there yet. I
Mhm.
feel like this is one of those things that we're like cooking in the pressure cooker because I know I've made, like this like example before. I think the first part of the pressure cooker was when Na Hae Soo found out about Minchol cheating. I think the next part was when they, her and Teha finally did the deed. Then it was when will Minchol find out that she's with somebody else. And I feel like the next part is either A, Teha slash Taeju or the Bone family. When are they going to find out about her? I feel like that's one possibility. And then the second or the other option, sorry, my cat's trying to put her paws in my face. Um, I think the other option is going to be who's pregnant.
Yeah.
Or is it really a pregnancy or is it a fake pregnancy? Well, on Ari's part, I mean, is it a real pregnancy or is it one of those, oh, I'm pregnant, and then 2 weeks later, oh, I miscarried, you know, conveniently. So I kind of feel like, as far as like the build up for the story, I kind of feel like those are our options right now. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's the read that I'm kind of getting.
See where
That's what
you
I
are.
think. That's what I think that the story is like focusing on because it was originally the whole like debt collection as well as the pregnancy as like things that were like the major things that broke the relationship down. Um
Mm-hmm.
but it also allows us to get into other things within the story. Like, for example, we'll see more about, like, for example, if we get back into like the whole debt collection stuff and the whole things that happen with the debt collectors, we'll see kind of if the Bion family actually has anything to do with that as
Oh
well.
my.
Um, it is almost
Yeah,
3
we're
a.m., but
probably
I don't
gonna
like.
be needing
It
to
is
wrap up
almost
pretty
3 a.m.
soonish.
I'm
I'm
on
I
3:42 a.m. It's
I it
3:42
is
a.m.
It is 2:42 a.m. West African time. So
I,
I very well
it,
went to bed and I should do the same, but I have a flight. So I like to be
it,
passed out on the plane because I don't like to
it's
think about being in the air.
3:42 in Italy, and I I too am cafe and will have to drop off soon because I have to go to bed so I can wake up in like 2 hours to
Oh
go
my
on a.
god. I'm sorry that I kept you up so long. I'm sorry,
No,
ladies.
no, we like the app.
I,
We like
I,
the
I
app.
keep
It's okay.
forgetting you guys are abroad. So
Yeah. But you know what? I love this community so much. I clock in and lock in. It doesn't matter that it's 4 a.m. and the sun's about to rise. And I have to go on a walking tour in like 3 hours. I'm here for the penny, here for the pound, and here
oh
for the euro,
damn.
dude.
Damn. Well, just so you know, I love you all. And, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I will try to be more diligent about the announcements for like the discussions. And then, we've also obviously launched the YouTube channel, which I'm probably going to have the recordings up pretty soon. We've also kind of started a podcast, which we generally record like on Thursday, and I'm trying to get on a schedule. So I'm gonna be uploading the podcast plus this discussion on YouTube sometime this weekend, but I'll make an announcement. So if you would be so kind to follow us on YouTube, maybe make some comments, that would be appreciated. But just know that we really appreciate everyone coming to join us for the discussion. I was not able to attend last week, and I had some FOMO so bad. But I just appreciate you guys like joining our server and just being with us on a Friday night. So thank you very much. And Auntie loves you, and I hope everybody has a good weekend. And we will be seeing you in the chat. So good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.